Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We got a bunch more cards to review. I haven't even looked at them except for, I guess, this one. We're going to take a look at all of them. There's, I think, 2 more reveals tomorrow. Then everything will be revealed. Everything will be done. And we can kind of assess everything all together. And again, friendly reminder, I'm giving away a regular mini set, a golden mini set. Check out the mini set announcement video. It's linked in the description below. All you have to do is comment, like, and subscribe to that video channel, whatever. You'll figure it out. Check all that. So let's take a look at the cards. And first we have a new, it looks like a Druid spell, Scale of Onyxia, 7 mana, fill your board with 2/1 whelps with rush. So this is 7 mana, 14/7 in stats. That's pretty decent. And I'll say that I have played a lot of Druid lately, and they just don't have good removal options. They just don't. And this, you could play in like a Guff deck, play this as like a removal spell effectively, or just a board presence your opponent has to deal with, or they get arbored up and murdered or whatever. Like, this is a decent card. I don't know if it fits into the ramp Druid. I feel like it's too slow for token Druid, but that is an insane amount of stats. It really is, and they all have rush. It's all proactive. This is a good card. This is a low-key, I think, a very solid card in Standard that maybe you run as like a one-of instead of like, people are running like Mulverick and the spammy Arcanist. Maybe you're just playing Scale of Onyxia. The only issue is it's 7 mana. It's a bit slow, but I think it's possibly a playable good card. I'm going to give it a 3 in Standard. I think it has a shot, and in Wild, probably not, because it's 7 mana, and there's just, you have Spreading Plague for 6. Or you can play Scales of Onyxia, but this is better when, you know, on an empty board, obviously. I don't see it being a good Wild card. Anyways, let's skip ahead. What's the next card we have here? We have another 10 mana Mage spell. So we got even more big spell Mage support, and it has tradable, 10 mana, tradable, discover 2 dragons, and you immediately summon them. You summon them. So these are class dragons, and Wild you could get like a Kaligos in your neck. Well, I guess it doesn't really work that. You can play Kaligos into Drakefire Amulet and get a Kaligos and then use that again next turn, I guess. But yeah, you discover them, you discover and summon them. So this is 10 mana, effectively draw 2 cards as well as summon 2 big dragons. So you can get an Onyxia on the board, summon it wide, can get Ysera, doesn't give you the dream card anymore. You can get Deathwing, could be a big stat bomb. For the most part, dragons don't have that incredible active effects on the board at the moment, unless I'm not thinking of one. You can always let me know in the comments below. Doing it off the cuff, right? But oh yeah, you get and you discover them, right? So it should be in your hand too. Typically when it says discover, you also get it in your hand. That's my assumption, because if it was just 10 mana, discover 2 dragons, it's still already pretty bad. Like, honestly, it's just really slow, and you need to cheat this out with like an Ink Celestial, the Celestial Ink set, or I guess you could use the Mage Legendary that has seen 0 play, that swap stats. I don't see this being a card right now, not in today's Hearthstone, in Standard or Wild. It's a cool card, don't get me wrong, but I don't see it. I'm gonna give it a 2 in Standard, a 1 in Wild, but yeah, it's a lot of value, and I guess you could cheat it out with the Blood Tower or Ice Tower or whatever it's called, and yeah, you don't get to pick the dragons that way. I don't see it, but cool big spell nonetheless, and you might cast it randomly with the rune spell, right? That could happen as well. We have another tradable spell, this time for Paladin, Ring of Courage, 2 mana, and you give a minion +1/+1, repeats for each enemy minion. So if there's no enemy minions on the board, this card sucks. If there's, let's say you need like 3 or 4 on the board, then the card's pretty good. Is that worth it in Paladin that has way better buffs and spells? And I don't see it. It's not a holy spell. It's just, this seems bad. This seems like a kind of an arena card to me. It does have tradable, which can make it a bit more flexible and good, but this just seems like a really kind of bad card. You can play it with what you would call it, Magtheridon, give your opponent some 1/3s and have some insane synergies that way. But too situational, too just not, yeah, it's not good in my opinion. I'm gonna give this, honestly, if it didn't have tradable, I'd give it a 1, but it's got tradable, so I'll give it a 2 in standard, a 2 in wild. But yeah, I don't see this taking the spot of any cards until maybe rotation, when Librams have gone and all those, like, Hand of Adal is gone. I just, again, can't see it. We have Horn of Wrathion. This is a priest spell. That artwork looks just very simple. Draw a minion, so this tutors a card, specifically draws a minion, and if it's a dragon, summon 2/2/1 whelps with rush. So that's 3 mana, 4/2 in rush, draw a minion. It has to be a dragon, so it's got to be that dragon priest thing, and I don't really see that being enough, but this is the card that can make the Kazakus dragon a thing, right? You run that as like your only minion, or you run just a couple of dragons and like Insight, and you've Horn of Wrathion, you get that card, and then you replace your deck with treasures, and then you lose because value is garbage, and you only can get Swarm of Locusts. It's going to kill your opponent, and maybe the weapon. I mean, it's a tutor card that draws, and you can get the upside, but you have to get the upside in it. Insight does rotate to wild after rotation, so maybe this gets better after rotation. But I will give it a 3 in standard, because almost every card that tutors draw, especially in priest, that doesn't have a lot of draw, has traditionally seen some play. So I'll give it 3 in standard, a 2 in wild, because you definitely can't get away with that strategy in wild. But yeah, there you go. There you can get your Kazakus priest, Kazarakis. I can't even remember what it's called, but that card. We have a rogue spell, another honorable kill card here. 3 mana, deal 3 damage. This can go face. It's not just to a minion. Honorable kill, discover a spell from another class. So it's a burgle card. You get to discover a spell, and it's specifically from another class, which can be, we've seen with death rattles from another class. Those are always way more, well, actually, you're not really going to discover neutral spells, are you? But still, spells are pretty good. We actually have seen discover another class spell before, that 4 mana 4/3 pirate. I don't remember what its name was, but it would discover a spell, I believe, from another class. That affects fringe play. And yeah, 3 mana deal 3 isn't great, and you have to get the honorable kill for this to be good. Again, it's a fun card. It's a cool card. It's not going to be a meta card. It's a created by card potentially, but I'm going to give this a 2 across the board in standard wild, but Burgle enthusiasts will probably have some fun with it. The odd time they'll get a spell from another class and all of that, but yeah, again, Rogue has better options, and I cannot see it being a meta player. And we got one more card here. We have Gear Grubber, 4 mana, 4/5 taunt. So yet another Yeti with taunt. That makes like 4 of them. There's a lot of those. They have like the Shaman Druid one. We have the Circus Amalgam. We have that Warrior one that can Shield Slam. This is another neutral one, and it has a 4 mana, 4/5 taunt. If you end your turn with any unspent mana, reduce this card's cost by 1. So, okay, so I'm assuming this has to be in your hand. I would think this has to be in your hand. I don't think this, you draw this, and if you've done it throughout the game, it would count. Basically, if this is sitting in your hand and you floated a mana at any point, it becomes 3, 2, 1. It's kind of a cool way of, like, you know, I guess being more control based or mid game based, where, you know, you're not just spamming 1-drops and all of that, and you can cheat this out as early as I guess turn 2 with the coin. You could play a Yeti. You could coin out a Yeti on turn 2. It's, well, that's, you know, Classic did that even better. So I don't know. I don't see this being a card outside of Arena. Pretty underwhelming, but kind of a cool little idea. But I don't know. Maybe if it counts for the entire game and you draw it as 0 mana right out the gate, it's still probably not really worth it. I'll give it a 2 in standard, 1 in wild, and yeah, that's all the cards. So tomorrow, I think we'll see the last of the legendaries. I think we're still waiting on 2 legendaries. There's 2 more at least to come, I think, and there might be a couple other cards. So we'll have at least 1 more review, maybe 2. I haven't decided yet. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.